Hello YouTube. Today we're going to talk about how we set our car up for doing heavy corrugations and very dusty roads. We're about to head up this road here, about 80 k's on corrugations. There's a few things that are a must when you're traveling on very corrugated dirt roads, outback sort of thing, very remote areas. And one of the first things I would say is tyres. You got to let your tyres down. Well, you don't have to, but if you're silly, then you leave them up. It just makes the ride so much smoother. So first things, we're going to let the tyres down, and I'll let them all down to, I'll probably put 20 in the front because there's not much weight on the front of the car, 25 in the rear axle where pretty much most of the weight is, 25 on the van, similar weight to the back of the car. So let's let them down. So I've got two options for letting the tyres down. These Camp Boss tyre deflators. These little things, you just screw them into your pressure, set and forget. I've also got the old school quickie tyre deflator. Now this thing, I reckon, is a lot more accurate and a lot more safe, but it's a lot more work. So I sort of just give them a bit of a mix and match, using both. Now you probably noticed that I only use 3 of the Camp Boss tyre deflators. That's because I've still got one in the bag because it just lets the tyre the whole way down. I've been meaning to take it back, but I just haven't got around to it. Letting your tyres down is probably the easiest way to increase your ride quality. Another thing that we've got, it's probably not what everyone has, but we have adjustable shocks in here. So always wind them out to their maximum softness, and that really seems to increase the ride quality as well, and that's what we're going for. So basically what we're trying to achieve is the smoothest ride possible, because smooth means less damage. So also another little tip for people that have a similar setup is airbags. Let your airbags down. You don't want to be running your airbags on a high pressure on corrugations. I also just go around, just have a bit of a visual inspection of the car, shake every wheel, check for wheel bearings and that kind of stuff. Anything you've got strapped down, like we have the boat strapped down here, just give it a big old shake. See, look, we've actually got this strap here. It's a bit loose. Make sure the shovel's tight. Just make sure nothing's broken. You might want to check everything in your engine bay as well. Make sure these max tracks are all set and everything's on. All these locks are off. I haven't seen how dusty this road is, but when it's really dusty, we run a snorkel sock on here. But I try and keep that more for emergencies because then I've got to clean it and things like that. Usually the best part about having a snorkel is that it's up high, and when you're driving, all the dust is behind the car. So you're not going to get much dust in your air intake, rather than originally they suck from up under the guard here. And you can imagine this wheel just spinning a heap of dust up and it's sucking it up into the air intake. Whereas up here, it's nice and fresh. So the snorkel is really a must for outback remote travel. Also make sure that the lights, which I've just realized have moved. See that? It's not square anymore. Oh. I might have to look into tightening them up actually. Another one here is a canopy vent. If you've got a canopy vent, open it. They really stop the dust. When we left on this trip, we didn't have a canopy vent, and I had to get one in Perth, and it's made a world of difference. It just pressurizes the canopy when the air comes over and just keeps all the dust out. It works an absolute treat. Highly recommend getting one of them. Alrighty, let's move on to the van. If you might see in an upcoming episode, or one that's been, our fridge slide actually broke. So I always put something here, which is a chock, just a chock to stop this coming out and punching through our door. Also, a good tip, these seals around here, I put a bit of tyre shine on them. Just keeps them soft and sticky, and that really seems to keep the dust out. So I'll just go around, you know, just give everything a shake. Make sure there's nothing loose. Our outboard mount, everything's good. Make sure there's no movement in the wheel bearings. Now here's a little one as well. We have here a dust suppression fan. So I just chuck this button on. And what that does is it draws air into the van over an air filter, and it pressurizes the van, so all the dust trying to get in hopefully doesn't come in because it's being pushed out by the fan. Always running that. Just making sure everything's closed. Really, it's a bit boring, I know, but inside the van is another one. We see it's a mess, unfortunately, but everything here, the laptop here and our camera and things, they need to go back in their bags. Just put in a safe spot where nothing's gonna fall over. Make sure everything that you've got that's hanging up or sitting somewhere, especially TVs and things, put them in your bed and under the blankets because they're just gonna fall. So we've just put everything that is important to me on the seat. So laptop, drone, camera, iPad, this thing for the GoPro. And then I'll just chuck this here, couple of cushions here, just over the top. I like to shut the blinds. I don't know if that helps, but I think it does. Nothing's up the top here. Now these Fusion Lock shower caddies that we use, they don't come off. So I don't have to worry about them. These will definitely fall off. Everything else should be pretty fine. Similar thing in our kitchen, guys. Just make sure everything that you don't want to fall off is in a spot that you don't want it to break. In our kitchen, guys, we've run, you can actually see how shiny it is. This spot here, it's got tyre shine on it, and that really keeps it dust sealed. It's really funny how it works. I've actually taped up these corners here. That stops the dust there. I know I should silicone them, but I haven't got round to it. Also, cannot forget the water pump. Need to have that off. Now I'll go around and just lock a heap of things. So that's about all I can think of right now. But let's get into these corrugations and see how we go. Hey, we've got about 80 Ks in front of us. Let's see what happens. So another one, when you're traveling on outback roads, always keep your UHF on. I've got mine on 40, and I usually leave it on 40 or just on scan, just so people can talk to you. You know, you can hear if anything else is going on the track. Scan's probably the best one, I reckon. 40 if you want to talk to people. Pretty much everyone seems to be on 40. Thought I'd pull over and show you guys, show you guys who don't know what corrugations really look like, what they do. So you can see here, ages, they're just this sand that you can push away, but they just go for miles. These ones aren't even really that bad, but you can just see them here. When you're hitting these at 80 Ks an hour, it's not comfortable. I will say, letting the tyres down and the suspension, we just seem to be floating over them. Well, let's keep going. So let's have a look at how we went dust-wise, hey? Oh, it's bad.
Bad?
Yeah.
dust suppression didn't quite do us.
Yeah, that little vent up there. It's the first time I've actually really used it. But the Caravan I know to be quite well. It actually looks good. Clean hand. Still clean. So no dust in here. The dust suppression worked. That's a bonus. I just thought I'd show you guys how much dust we collected. The road turned out not to be 80 k's, but it was ended up, I think it was 127. So pretty dusty. And had the dust suppression fan on the whole way. It's got a little filter in it. I'm not certain what kind of filter in it is. It's obviously just like a car air filter. But we'll take a look. It's just here. So that's a fair bit. I cleaned this out when we were in Perth, and we haven't done heaps of dirt roads. So this is mainly from yesterday. Ooh, it's just going back on the van. It's a lot, isn't it? Now I do have a spare one of these, but I only have one. So I'm trying to save this for when we go more outback. Try and put the new one in then. So I'll just give it a blow out with the air compressor, get a bit of a clean, and then we'll put it back in. That looks okay. So I'll just whack that back in. Should be good for another, you know, another few, however long. For however many microns of dust. I don't know how you would count dust. How would you count dust? Kilos? Square meters? I don't know, comment down below. Tell me how to count dust. Particles. So that's how we set up our car for doing long distance corrugations in the dust. I'm sure everyone's different, everyone has their own sort of things. Hope you guys got some tips out of this. If you've got anything else to tell me, put it in the comments below. I'm happy to hear, and I'm happy to take it on board. It'd be fantastic if you could. I guess you're probably asking, why put all this effort in and drive on horrible roads? Well, it's to get to places like here. I'm not going to tell you where we are right now though. You'll have to watch one of our Sunday episodes and I'll tell you then. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on Sunday. Ciao for now.